moving forward, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, on Monday extended its 6-month-old strike indefinitely until the federal government meets its demands. The union extended the industrial action after reviewing progress reports on ongoing negotiations with the federal government in the last 4 weeks when ASUU rolled over the strike. Last week, the Minister of Education, Adamu, said the federal government had addressed most of the union's demands, including the release of 50 billion naira for the payment of earned allowances for academic and non-academic staff of universities. Now, Mike Cookie, a public affairs analyst, joins us via the phone call from the Garden City of Port Harcourt. Good morning, Mike, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning, Samson, and good morning to you as well.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much. Now, moving on, the conversation now said the 50 billion naira has been released for payment of allowances for academic and non-academic staff union of universities. Now, this is coming from Adamu, and still the ASUU has extended their strike indefinitely. There's been a rift for a long time between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, and all of this, the students are the ones who are at home. So before many more conversations are said about this, let me get your thoughts on this particular release of 50 billion naira for payment of allowances for the staff.
Okay, so the news broke, I think yesterday, on the indefinite strike that ASUU has embarked on. And it is rather unfortunate, quite unfortunate, I must say here, because you see this process has been ongoing. They have been back and forth, and I really sympathize with the students that are at the end of the brunt of this. Honestly, government is not being sincere about this whole process. There's a serious trust deficit here. Okay, and I'm speaking as an independent analyst looking at both sides of the issue. After 2 weeks ago, when government called ASUU back for a renegotiation of their demands, we thought that government was going to just bite the bullet and resolve this issue once and for all. Only for they offered 50 billion naira, and if you consider the demands of ASUU, 50 billion naira is actually nothing as to what they are even requesting. Now you are releasing 50 billion naira to them, and at the same time you are putting a clog in the wheel of progress on the negotiation. Because part of what government is saying is that they are not going to pay the lecturers for the number of days that they were on strike. I think to say that the strike, they're going on strike, was of their own making.
But it's a no work, no pay policy already.
Say again?
It's a no work, no pay policy.
Yeah, a no work, no pay policy that the government is trying to want to throw in. But on the part of government has reneged on their own promises. They've refused to give the revitalization funds to the universities. The failure on the release of the white paper of their own committee that they set up. They set up the Professor Nimi Briggs committee to look into the demands of ASUU. The professor negotiated, brought back his report to government, and government twice failed to implement it. So when government is saying we are throwing in a no work, no pay policy, it's a mark of defeat on the part of government. So you are bringing 50 billion naira, you are giving 50 billion naira to ASUU. And out of this 50 billion naira, it is not as if it is holistic. The entire money is even going to ASUU. You have spread it across the three different organizations within the body. So it's more like government is just using an underhand tactics just to still keep these lecturers, going cap in hand. And the lecturers are saying that this is not, they are not going to accept this. Because if you look at the demands of the lecturers, right now, among several demands, they are just saying that government should attend to at least 2 or 3 of their demands, which includes for government to implement the youth tax payment of their salaries. So they are saying take 50 billion naira, but we are not going the route of youth tax. Rather, government is looking at routing it through the IPPS payment system, which ASUU is still not in agreement with. So I see a high level of deceit and insincerity on the part of government here. And it is rather unfortunate because the consequences, honestly, it's mind-boggling. And the students are at the end of the road in all of this.
As you've said, it's apparent the federal government is not willing to yield grounds, and the 50 billionaire, released has to do with both academic and non-academic, staff, which apparently ASUU is just a part of it in terms of ASUU, while NASU will also benefit from that 50 billionaire. So here's the question: with both sides unwilling to yield ground and the indefinite industrial action now in place, where does this really leave us? Do you think there's an end in sight, considering that the campaign season is just weeks away, and we know how things are in this part of the world, that when it's campaign season, it's all about the politics and politicking rather than governance? Where does this leave the education sector?
Yeah, ordinarily, my brother, for the past couple of months back, in fact, as we turned into this year, after the first quarter of this year, governance entirely, is in a comatose in this nation.
Yeah.
All right, they have turned their focus and attention to politics and politicking, which is rather unfortunate. In other developed climes, that's not the case. Okay, but unfortunately, here in Nigeria, that's what we see, and it's going to trickle down across every other sector. It's affecting it, and it is. I mean, a government that is responsible should not be doing this.
Yes.
You are 8 months down the end of your administration, or like you said, campaigns are just down the road. I mean, a responsible government should even want to cash in on that and ensure that you placate the citizens. You try and put smile on the faces of Nigerians so that it will be a positive record for your government going into the election. Osun State election is not too far away.
Yes.
Okay, where a sitting governor had to lose an election. And that is by reason of what is happening in the economy. INEC has it that they recorded almost an 80% high first-time voters turnout in that election.
Yes.
And that is exactly what is going to play out in the general election. Because the students are really angry with what is going on in the educational sector. Keeping students at home for well over 6 months and still counting, and you want to claim like it is not important. It only shows that you have lost your priority when it comes to education. And it's too bad. Okay.
But looking at the state of things now, the university, or the tertiary education as a whole, because at some point you also had, the polytechnics, academic staff of polytechnics as well on strike. Yes, SANO and NASU have called off their strike, but it's just for 2 months. The education sector as a whole, where does this leave, the state, like the Nigerian nation, considering that ASUU is just one body out of all other bodies within the tertiary education system?
So the decay that you are seeing happening in the education sector,
yes,
is just only a bit of fragment of the entire cankerous situation that has engulfed the entire nation. Because you have this same incident or this same crisis replicated in the different sectors of the economy. Judiciary has gone on strike. Yep. Doctors have gone on strike.
Electricity workers.
Which sector that can you mention that has not been affected? And why must strike only be the language that this government will have to want to listen to? Why are we not being proactive? Why are we reactive? Why is the government reactive? Why can't you take proactive measures? This ASUU strike, they have been given, they've gone on 2 weeks strike, they come back, they go on another 3 weeks,
warning
they will
strike.
come back, giving warning notice to the government. But the government has been complacent in its actions. And they want to claim that there is no money, we don't have money to foot your wage bill and all of that. But you have money to throw around. We are hearing all kinds of funny things. You are giving cards, security cards to neighboring countries and all of it. Now Abacha youth is to be released. $32 million about to be released. Are you saying that you cannot be able to find the courage to take funds out of there to sort out these education issues if you consider it a priority? I mean, it's just the height of failure of governance in this country.
Okay, now let's look at, you talk about the failure of governance in Nigeria. Let's look at this part of compromise. Well, I really do understand the grievances of the lecturers and non-academic staff of ASUU, but then let's look at the fact that the parents of this ward have agreed to a 10,000 naira fee for each ward just to assist. It's bad enough that we have to provide so many things for ourselves in this country, but the part of compromise, the Minister of Education has said that the government had met a major part, this is a statement now, a major part of what ASUU is asking for, including 50 billion naira, plus these parents saying they are willing to pay some amount of money for each session just to aid the running of these universities. Isn't that supposed to be at least something to start with for the sake of the students who are affected? And also there's a lawsuit that the students can, saying that the students can sue for being backward in their studies. But we don't know if that will see the light of the day anyway.
Well, ordinarily, we shouldn't even get to this bend. Unfortunately, and shamefully so, parents are beginning to now, make suggestions that, let's just give this, let's just support with this. And personally, I am not convinced that if government wants to end this strike with ASUU, the government does not have the will to want to do it. I rather see more of an egoistic kind of attitude here. Government don't want to be seen like we lost this battle, or to be seen like they are weak, and which is not supposed to be the case. So for Professor Adamo coming to say that government has met with the demands of ASUU
major demands
in a negotiation process, after you finish speaking, what's been the response of ASUU? It is ASUU that should be saying that, the government has been able to, meet up with our demands by so and so percentage, and not government trying to say that to the masses. Okay, so when you even say you are releasing 50 billion naira, and I need you to know that whether government is they are trying to use NASU, SANU and NASU, the non-academic bodies of this sector, to want to blackmail ASUU. ASUU is the parent body. If the lecturers are not in school, the academic section will not necessarily go on smoothly. It's a symbiotic relationship. The same way, if NANS decide that, all the students decide that they are going on strike, it will definitely affect the system. Okay, so not the what you call them, the non-academic, they are more like a support staff. And I want to believe that, because following through this story, I see that ASUU have really considered grounds from amongst almost 10 10 of their demands. They are just saying to government, attend to 2 or 3. Let's see the good faith in this discussion.
Okay.
You are releasing 50 billion naira. On what payment platform are you releasing it on? Have you agreed to the UTAS payment that ASUU is proposing? Or you are still sticking to it has to be the IPPS payment platform that we agree. So you can see that there is no good faith in all of this.
All right.
But it is unfortunate because the students are the ones that are bearing the brunt of it.
Okay, thank you so much. For the want of time, we have to wrap up this segment. Thank you so much, Mike Cookie, for sharing your thoughts on this conversation.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Have a good day, you too. Well, that was Mike Cookie joining us via phone call from River State, Port Harcourt. We'll take a short break now. Coming up, we have the personal finance segment with Charles Fakoha. We'll be right back.